Your competitor may do that. They can outsmart you and outwork you by using the tools that are available because you think, who's going to pay any attention?
There are opportunities for our work and careers everywhere, if you know where to look. That's easier said than done, especially in our fast-paced and constantly changing world. Ann Faremouth is talking to experts, employers, and job seekers to bring you insight and understanding about what's possible. This is Career Can Do, where we're navigating the new work world.
Welcome to the Career Can Do podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping you navigate the new work world. My name is Ann Faremouth. I'm an executive recruiter, nationally syndicated columnist, speaker, and multi-genre author. And today I am just delighted to have a guest on my show that's really got some powerful information to share in the new work world. Chuck Gallagher is an entrepreneur, speaker, and author. He's an author of the very famous Second Chances book, and he's been featured in media outlets including Life and Health, Small Business Opportunity, Business Week, CBS, CNN, Lifetime, and National Public Radio. I want to have Chuck on the show today because he has his finger on the pulse of the digital world we all live in. And one of the services he provides is really in demand, especially now post-COVID. As an executive recruiter sitting on my side of the desk, in the trenches of the Great Resignation and beyond, I see many folks that are really in need of what Chuck does. So, without further ado, and after that incredibly long introduction, help me welcome Chuck Gallagher. Welcome, Chuck. Please say hello to our guest.
Ann, thank you so much, and hello to all of the folks in the audience. I appreciate the long introduction. It was deep, it was wide, but, I am so happy to be here.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. What you do is such a top-notch, high-quality service that I wanted to have you on the show because I think a lot of people out there need what you do. They just don't know about someone like you that's out there. So, you've got a very diversified background, Chuck. Can you share with our listeners the service you provide and kind of how you got into it?
The interesting side is you and I connected as professional speakers and authors. But I guess the divergent background for me is I also own a company called Primo Productions, and we're a full-service video production company. And you ask how I got into that, the answer is easy. As a speaker, you need video. In fact, in reality, in the world we live in today, video is what sells. So if I'm going to be recognized and I'm going to be attractive to meeting professionals and clients that I serve, I've got to have top quality video. So I actually started the company for my own personal benefit, but it evolved into something that has gone nationwide and now serves a variety of people, including speakers and authors and corporate executives.
Well, I think the service is so necessary right now. And I think, Chuck, with COVID, so many people were forced to do more online and use this digital application that we have available to us right now. So I think the service, you provided is an important one. But what I am so impressed with is that your service and the way you do what you do is so high caliber and done so well. So you really go the extra mile in producing a quality service. So tell us a little bit about the process. If somebody wants to do a digital or a virtual or a filming with your company, how does all that work? How do they do it?
Okay, so first thing, Ann, the question that everyone has to ask is, what problem do I solve? If we can't answer that question, it's going to be a challenge. And as an executive recruiter, you understand better than anybody in a competitive marketplace, you have to be able to articulate what that problem is. Now, you and I can do that. We could do it face-to-face. We could do it via Zoom. But in reality, in the world we live in, with things digitized and video viral and out there, we need to be able to answer that question in an articulate manner and in a manner that's going to capture people's attention. So the first process is to identify that. And by the way, just a quick side note, because I was doing this analysis today, looking at the YouTube channel, which I have thousands of subscribers to, the average watch rate for any video is 31 seconds. Now, the video might be 4 minutes or 10 minutes or 3 minutes, but the average watch rate is 31 seconds, which says if we want to be effective in the world with people having a real short attention span, we've got to make sure in 31 seconds that we get across something that is powerful enough to cause people to want to continue to watch.
I think that says a lot. I think that's so true. So the question then becomes, how do you capture someone's attention and do something so quality oriented to want them to continue within that first 31 seconds? What process do you use, Chuck, that helps people want to continue listening to the video and the digital process that you handle? What is it that the secret, or what do you do that helps people keep wanting to listen?
Part of the answer to that question is making sure that what the video is something that people want to watch in the first place. And I'm going to be really candid. I speak about ethics, and everybody thinks they're ethical, of course, until they're not. So it's not like an ethics video is going to cause people to go, oh my gosh, I can't wait to watch that. So I have to know, what are people searching for in order to create content that people want to watch in the first place? And I'll make it a really easy example. Well, at least up until now, with interest rates rising, but the real estate market has been white hot, just white hot everywhere across the country. Well, if I'm a realtor in a competitive market, how do I get noticed? Probably need lots of videos, but I don't need a video just to have one. I need to be answering questions that people are searching for. I'm living in Greenville, South Carolina. There could be 100 realtors in Greenville, South Carolina, but one that does the research to know what are the questions people searching for, and then creates those videos to answer that, and they will get the viewership, and because they're the ones found, they will get more business. And we've been able to prove this over and over again.
All right. So in other words, Chuck, when you have a prospective customer that might enlist your service, you take the time to find out what they do, and then you produce a video that has information in there that's going to draw their market segment to them. Is that right? But you take the time, first of all, to find out what they do and what makes them unique. And more importantly, what makes someone want to continue to listen. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. If we can identify the problem that's solved, that gives us the lane we're looking for. If we can identify in that lane what's being searched for, then we know how to position the video. At that point, then it becomes, now how do we create quality content that's going to capture people's imagination? And one of the things, the blessing of Zoom is we can talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. Oh, the bane of Zoom is that we're just a talking head with a blurred background or a in focus background, and you don't get a lot of imagination. So you'll notice that videos that typically get viewership have interesting things about them, something that is a little unique. Maybe it's some animation, maybe there is a little humor. With green screen, I could be talking to myself on my shoulder and having a conversation with that voice inside my head. That captures attention. And if you capture attention, you'll capture viewership.
All right. Well, as a recruiter here for almost 40 years, we've all heard this word, or this new tagline called the Great Resignation. And as we know, a lot of people are wanting to become entrepreneurs, or maybe they're doing something part-time to eventually move out of their full-time job to become full-time entrepreneurs. So to do that, though, they have to get that market segment, or to get the draw they need. What you provide helps them with their marketing, so gets them noticed. And is that correct, Chuck, pretty much?
That's absolutely correct. Regardless of what the category happens to be, if you don't get noticed, you might be brilliant at what you do. But if nobody knows it, you won't get business.
Okay. And now, with people still a little apprehensive to go to the big conferences, I mean, you and I are both members of similar conferences, one being NSA, which I've missed not being at the conferences because it's so wonderful. But as many in-person events are not as well attended as they have been, then your service allows people to have a video, to have a digital presence that still gets them recognized and able to present their products or services. Correct? Pretty much?
Yeah. And Marianne, let me just delve for a second into a simple example. There's a real good friend of mine, lives in North Carolina, probably one of the top 5 people on diversity, inclusion, and unconscious bias. And she literally speaks all over the world. Well, of course, when the pandemic happened, speaking all over the world was not going to be quite the same. It had to be virtual. But reality is her time is her time. That's her inventory. So she came to me and she said, I'm really tired of the Zoom look. I want to produce something that is going to be more appealing. So we brought her into the studio and literally recorded her entire presentation. And I put this in air quotes, but Netflix style, so that it really had a lot of production value. Now, she has that pre-recorded version and she gets a number of calls. So they call and they say, well, we want you to present. Okay, great. I'd be delighted to. Is the day available? Well, if it is, here's my fee. And I'm going to make the number up and say it's $20,000 just to have a talking point. Well, we don't have that budget. Fine. I have it pre-recorded. It has even more bells and whistles. That's $5,000. Well, here's what she learned from this. She only has 250 days a year she could speak if she spoke 5 days a week for 50 weeks a year. But pre-recorded, she could sell it worldwide, however many times, because 1,000 companies could buy her product and they might spend less than they would for her in person, but they get exactly the same quality content, which is really what they're looking for. So sometimes we, and I say we as entrepreneurs, have to think more broadly. It's not about exchanging my time for money. It's about how can I exchange my content for a fee and do that over and over and over again without having to just beat my head against the wall saying, oh my gosh, I can't do it right now because I have another event.
It's how do I work smarter, not harder?
Absolutely.
So to get that accomplished, you call someone like Chuck Gallagher because he can help you with this process. And the other thing that you do, I think, too, Chuck, is that you are a brand expert, all right? You help us with our brand and you put that presentation together in a way that's top quality. It is done in a way that is really very professional, very streamlined. And our branding as professionals is all we have, all right? Because people right now are looking at everything, and on my side of the desk anyway, under a microscope. And they want the very best that they can get, in my opinion. And I think having something done like this, that the service he provides, the video, the digital presentation that he does, I think is an answer to this very challenging situation. Now, if I come to you and I'm going to have you do a video on me, tell me how this works. I have to come out to you. You have a stage. You do my makeup. Tell us out there. Tell our listeners how you do it.
Okay, let me be crystal clear, Marianne. You don't want me doing your makeup, okay?
No.
That.
No.
But in reality, the answer to that question is yes, for the most part. If you're geographically situated, it is far easier for us to give you the quality product you're looking for, to have you come into our studios. Yes, we provide a makeup service. It's a multi-camera shoot, obviously professional mics, professional audio, but we're really able to control the environment. And I say this, I've said it many times, kind of jokingly, but there's an element of truth. If you can believe there were dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, I can put you on a green screen and I can create an environment that is going to be magnificent on video, which sometimes is a mind shift for people to understand. The objective is the emotional response the viewer has, not how did it get created. So our job is to help you create amazing. And the other thing that I would say relative to that is I'm gray-headed. I've been around the block a while. So I recognize you could be like kids and just do all kinds of little short things and put it out. And you might have a lot of quantity. But when someone who is seriously thinking about you in an executive role, for example, or if you are moving to that entrepreneurial role, if you're going to be taken seriously, you need to make sure that the digital footprint you're leaving is something that you're going to be proud of, that's going to sell you, versus having lots of things out there that may not actually accomplish the objective that you're looking for.
Well, I think quality is the name of the game right now. I think having something out there that's quality oriented, quality produced is going to also set you apart from the competition and yield more results. So the neat thing about what Chuck does, though, is he's generic in the sense of he can work with professionals in many different venues. He talked about real estate. He can work with different kinds of entrepreneurs. He can work with speakers. He can work with an author that's got a new book out. Maybe that book just got Amazon bestseller and you want people to know about it, all right? So he can work with, what about Facebook? Can these videos be used on Facebook or LinkedIn or social media too, Chuck?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things, if nobody else gets anything out of this, the world of video in social media is kind of interesting. It used to be is the operative word. You'd do a video and you put it on YouTube and then put the link on Facebook or LinkedIn or what have you. And those people don't play well with each other. Okay. Facebook doesn't like Microsoft. Microsoft has LinkedIn. LinkedIn doesn't like Google because they own YouTube. So when we produce a video, we create it in such a way that not only can you put it on the major platform, which still today is YouTube, but you also can then upload it separately to Facebook, upload it separately to LinkedIn. Because if you do that, Facebook's like, oh, you love us enough to give us the original. Or LinkedIn would say same thing. And you get more love at that point. You get more viewership because they actually promote that as opposed to the links. So that's part of the service we provide, is helping people understand, how do you interact with social media in a way that produces the best result that you're looking for?
Everybody's asking that question right now. And I think having someone like you that can assist someone that's maybe on the fence, which leads me to the next question. We're getting close to the end here of our podcast. If our viewers out there, are really on the fence about, is doing this video really going to help me? Or if I'm a new entrepreneur and I want to get noticed out there, why would I do this? In other words, Chuck, can you give our listeners maybe 2 tips if they're on the fence about doing this, as far as how this method might facilitate them to expand their platforms?
Sure. I'm going to use a real simple example. I had that conversation 2 weeks ago. Gentleman up in Seattle, Washington, fairly successful business, was like, why do I need to do video? And I said, well, you want to be found whenever there's a search for whatever your product or service is. He said, well, there's no video there. That was true. There wasn't. I said, okay, now search me. Don't search my name, search my category. And when he did, all of a sudden my videos popped up. Let me state that again. My videos, not my competitors' videos, mine, because I have flooded the market with videos about the topic area and the questions. And I said, now, to this gentleman, let me ask you this question. If you were doing a search and you saw the videos, would you click on it first? He said, yes. I said, that's why you need video, because your competitor may do that. They can outsmart you and outwork you by using the tools that are available, because you think, who's going to pay any attention? So most of the time when I talk to somebody, what problem do you solve and how do you get positioned in the marketplace? And secondly, what are your competitors doing that you can do better? Because when you do better than your competitors, you are guaranteed to shift that market in your direction.
Well, I think that's great information. I think he's providing a powerful service that so many of us need these days, to be out there, to be front and center, to be ahead of the competition. So, Chuck, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
Well, that's fairly easy. The email address is chuck@Primo Productions, PRIMEAU Productions.com. Or the easiest thing is just pick up the phone and give me a call. That's 828-244-1400. Easy number to remember, 828-244-1400. Operators are standing by. I'm just kidding about that. But I've had the number since 1998, so I'm not giving it up now. But fairly easy to remember, and I take my calls.
All right. Well, we are just thrilled to have had you on Career Can Do. I think the world of Chuck Gallagher. He's going to do some personal work with me on videos and some of my associates. I validate what he does. I think he's great at what he does, and I think he produces quality results. So if you need a video, if you're thinking about it, give Chuck a call. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy, but he'll tell you the truth and he'll help you put out something that's really going to get you results. So my name is Ann Faremouth. This is Career Can Do. And we'll see you all next time. Thanks again, Chuck. Bye-bye. We thank you for tuning in to our Career Can Do podcast. We make no guarantees on results for your particular quest, but we hope you enjoy the information presented. The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely that of the guest or speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Ann Faremouth and Faremouth and Company. Thank you.